Welcome to the Faith and Swim podcast, where we dive into the intersection of swimming and living a life for Him. But today, is it really going to be swimming? I don't know, because today we have a special and very awesome guest. So it's somebody that I've known for about 4 years now. We went through high school together. I've seen him in his career as a long distance runner, his incredible work ethic, his love for God, and his love for his team and love for people. And so I would like to introduce to you Logan Clark.
Howdy, y'all.
Just tell me like how has senior year been for you, bro?
Senior year's been great so far. It's all coming to the end, and it's honestly couldn't wish for better. All got it lined up for college. Grades are closing up. AP tests are almost done. Couldn't be happier.
Yeah, bro, that's good. And so I guess like it would be good for the viewers to know why we're doing the switch up because initially the plan was for us to just do interviews with swim athletes because that's kind of the niche that I want to fall into. I want to serve the swim community of North Texas.
hmm
But honestly, I'll let you like recap like how did this idea even like come up for you to be on?
So yeah, we were just in our AP biology class the other day, studying hard for our government tests the next day. Absolutely locked in, and
Yeah.
then in a matter of minutes, we were not locked in, and now
Yeah.
we're yapping about just everything from our books to a relationship with God and whatnot. And the podcast brought up, and I thought it was super cool that he was doing it. It's not a completely new, unique idea, but what he's doing with faith and swim and the combination of that's totally new. And that he's bringing that to, the North Texas area. I thought that was super cool. And when I first saw it, I was blown away by you were starting it. I mean, and you had an episode up right then and there. You were ready to go. I thought it was super cool.
Thanks, bro.
Like, that's just dope, man. And so in the back of my head, I was like, dang it, if only I was a swimmer, bro. I could have been on this show or could have helped out somehow or done something. But and then you heard about that.
Yeah, bro. You're like because we are just talking about God and the conversation ended and I was like, dang, bro, like if you could have been on the podcast, like, dude, it would have been so lit. And then you're like, bro, like I kind of wanted to be, but I didn't ask. And I was like, yeah, like I just felt like God in my ear said, like, yeah, it's a sealed deal. Like, bro needs to be on. And so I mean, that's just awesome. But one more thing. I gotta shout out my boy Nathan Williams. He's the one that sponsored the setup, got all the things for this, and so I mean, I'll put his Instagram handle and his things down in the description, so y'all gotta check it out. But yeah, this wouldn't be possible without God, but also without putting Nathan in my life because bro's a G. But
What a legend.
yeah. So I want to know more about you, bro. So, like, I asked all my guests this, and it's just three simple questions. So, the first one, it would be how you got into swim, but rather how you got into track. So, by the way, this is gonna be like kind of a long question. You're gonna have a lot to unpack. Um, how you got into track, then how you like, what's your testimony of coming to faith, or like something that God has done in your life that has shifted you in the direction towards Him, and then lastly, where you are now. So,
All right, here we go. So beginning with running, I guess that'll start it all in middle school. And my older brother, he got convinced by some of his basketball friends in high school at Lake Ridge to join the cross country team. So sooner or later, I was following in his footsteps because I've looked up to him for my entire life. He's been the biggest role model to me. So I decided to try out for my seventh grade cross country team. And surprisingly, I made it. And I didn't do too shabby. Can't say I was completely in love with it, but I discovered that, I might be okay at this. And then come around seventh grade year for track season, cross country is in the fall, winter, yeah, fall, and then track is in the spring. And I didn't even make the track team. Like that's the thing. I tried out for the long distance. I tried out for hurdles. I didn't even make it. And this is seventh grade people, so
that's
you got to be really bad not to make the middle school track team.
yeah.
But it's okay. I continued to work. I did a little bit of running here and there, but in middle school, it's inconsistent. Eighth grade year turns around and I make the cross country team again, but this time I make an impact. I'm
Mm.
I'm our number two runner, competing for number one here and there, and I'm thrilled to be there this year. Now that I'm up at the top, I'm competing. I'm happy to be there.
Definitely.
And my older brother Ethan, he continues in his high school career, and he's getting better and better, and he's making more of an impact on his team and becoming a leader. And I see that and I recognize it, and it's something I'm shooting for now. It's to make an impact not just in middle school but also in high school, and to come to my own as a leader and an individual.
Mm.
But of course, COVID came around, so eighth grade track season didn't even get to happen,
Mm.
and that's okay. So we go into high school, and big dog time. This is where boys turn into men. So I try for the cross country team, and I make it. I'm very happy about that, and I'm super excited. So we begin the season. I'm training hard. My brother's taking me on runs, whether I will enjoy them or not. He's taking me on them, and he's helping me out, and he's training me, and he's just being a great mentor to me. And I continue to improve. Halfway through the season, I beat him in a race, and then I go back the next week and I beat him again, and then for the third week in a row, it's closer this time, but I beat him. So he basically passed the torch to me that freshman year, and it was super cool to be able to beat my older brother in the sport because it showed like, wow, I'm doing something right, I think.
Yeah.
So that continues on through my high school career. Lots of challenges. I unfortunately had a sophomore slump year, as I would assume many athletes are familiar with that, and hopefully you're not. I would pray that you're not, but unfortunately, that happened to me, and that was definitely a rougher year for me. Not just within running, that was just a life year. That was
Mhm.
one where you were just challenged, in many ways. Not into that more with my faith, and then junior year, that's when we hit a stride. That's what's happened. Like I became the upperclassman, I became the leader, I became the guy to look up to, and that
Mhm.
was something I've been striving for since
Mhm.
middle school, and looking at my older brother and the impact the upperclassmen made to me when I was a freshman, such as Hayden and our boy Monty.
Hey, shout out Hayden and Monty.
Yeah,
Shout
bro.
out. Yeah.
They were great. And I really hit the stride. I start breaking school records, I start making a name for myself and the team, and we start to become something, a force to be reckoned with, more than we were years ago.
Uh-huh.
And now here we are, senior year, second best cross country team in the district, one of the best in the region in Texas.
Bro.
What's up?
That's okay. So I realized like you already dropped so many like good nuggets here, and I just got to hit them. So I realized like your life and my life, we parallel pretty closely because we both have older brothers that we looked up to
Yeah.
our entire lives, and then kind of like getting passed on the torch. Because I know my experience getting the torch passed on, it was kind of freshman year. My brother and I, we went 1-2 in the 100 fly at districts. He got first, I got
That's
second.
cool.
So that was extremely dope. But I feel like more like even still then, even my coach told me that I was still living in my brother's shadow. But then sophomore year, uh, I feel like the torch was really passed on to me because that was when I broke my brother's like district, not district, high school record in the
Oh,
100 fly.
that's sick.
So like that's insane. Like my brother had the record, and then now I do, and so I feel like then, uh, I really kind of like got the torch passed on to me. Like I took up that responsibility,
Hmm.
not only of being a good athlete, but also like being an impact and being a leader on the team. And so I look up to my brother a lot because he essentially walked so I could run. There's so many times like he came through for me. I mean, I kind of mentioned that on the episode that I did with my brother, but it's like to follow. I mean, we both experienced it, like just to follow in your siblings footsteps and to even do more than they did is just such a blessing. And then also with like being an impact, I know like both of us, I watched your signing ceremony and how like so many people on the team looked up to you and how you're really like a beacon of light and like the glue that held your team together. It like it's actually kind of crazy how like similar we are, but it really makes a difference when you like show up and are there for your teammates and can just be a role model, just not as performance wise like leading the way, but also like being in their life. So that's
Yeah.
pretty special.
Definitely. Like that's something that was super important to me because when I was a freshman, I was able to not just be friends with the upperclassmen on the team, but I was also friends with them in school. Said hey to them in the hallways. I sat with them at lunch, and they definitely molded me as not just an athlete but also an individual. And I see that as something I can totally do as an upperclassman. I feel like it's almost my responsibility to, because we have these underclassmen who are easily moldable, and that can go either way. They can be
Yeah,
molded into, you know,
yeah, impressionable.
and very impressionable, exactly.
Yeah,
So it's important that we leave the right mark and that we're not, you know, either bitter or mean or angry upperclassmen where they like turn the same way when they get older and then are harsh to the underclassmen. We should be loving and open and kind, and you know, they should be able to like come up to us in the hallways and be able to talk to us,
exactly, bro.
or just joke around with them on practice, like anything, like any of that sort. Like
Hmm.
that's super big to me, and I want to create or leave behind a legacy that was already established before me, but continue it on and make sure that I raise and
Mm.
encourage younger classmen to become sort of leaders.
Yeah, no, that's true, and yeah, I almost think I shouldn't say this, but like sometimes it's a little bit of a struggle because I think sometimes people don't realize the responsibility they have moving up to be that leader. Because it's so easy to kind of like slump back into like teams where the upperclassmen don't know the underclassmen. There's kind of like no respect, even though like they may be younger and are a little more wild and may do some more clumsy things. Like they still need people to show them like the right way, but
Mhm.
also know that they're seen as well.
Exactly.
And so, I mean, it's kind of hard to like show that to other people. A lot of it sometimes is just like it has to be like in you, but somebody has to bring it out. And so I feel like we kind of serve as people that like bring it out, whether they have it or they don't. But yeah, honestly, it's also something like to pray about because God molds our hearts into becoming more and more like Him, and so we can always pray to have that happen in other people's lives because there's a lot of peace in being a leader, even though like it's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely I find myself kind of sometimes be like, dang, I wish I wasn't, you know, wish I wasn't team captain, or dang, I wish I didn't have to do this. Because it is a lot of effort, especially when you're at meets or you're going on trips. And it's like you just feel this such weight and burden. But it's really not even that. It's an honor. It's a privilege to be able to be this way because you know there's upperclassmen wishing, praying that they were exactly like you, who could have this responsibility and this influence. So I think it's definitely, you know, we just gotta be like Jesus. We have to be able to willing to serve with kindness and patience and open heart.
Mm. Yeah, that's hey, bro, we're already off to a mad start. Like this is really good. So tell us more about like that sophomore slump.
So yeah, just going into my sophomore year, I was riding high off all the adrenaline and just the encouraging progress I've had from my freshman year. So I go into it, and at that point we had lost all of our seniors. We were a bare bones team, completely new. And so I was coming into this, I'm like, okay, this is the year, step up, make my shot. You know, I'd start to begin to lead the way. And man, it just didn't go that way. I didn't, I was too inexperienced for me because this sport was so new to me. Even though I've been doing it in middle school, I just didn't have the wealth of knowledge a lot of athletes have. They've been doing this since they were 10 or whatever.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah,
running, be like, oh, you're new to the sport and you've been running for 3 years. It's like, yeah, it's just the way it is. Like you're still really new because I hadn't been consistently training. And yeah, so I just kind of like I ran a fast time like the first meet. It's like, okay, I'm good, I got this. And then the second meet's like, whoa, way off. Third meet's like, we just got more further off. It's like, okay, I need to refocus. And a big thing for me is at that time I had an ego, man. Like it was bad, and it was so bad. I'm ashamed looking back on it now, but I can realize I've learned from it. But my ego and pride was monstrous
yeah,
at the time because I was like, I'm the stuff, man. I was like second, third best on the team my freshman year. Like this is my place, this is my town, this is my I run it, and it just wasn't the case because sure I was good at the school, but then you go to any other meet and it doesn't matter if you're the best at the school. It matters if
yeah.
you're the best at the meet. Um, and so this led me into conflict with my coach and my other teammates at the time, and just I wasn't being an example. I was being a nuisance, and I had to learn through my coach, you know, sitting me down and telling me like, Logan, we got to sort this out. There's something not right, and we got to sort it out. But also a little bit of it came from my personal life because At the time, my parents were getting divorced, and so there was just a number of things that were going on. But at the end of the day, it was on me. And so I had to find and almost basically relearn everything I knew about just what it meant to be a Christian at the time. Like
Mm,
I was struggling so much with my faith because I was a Christian. I've been a Christian since I was a kid, just like a lot of other people. But I was just a Christian. I didn't really sure I learned, oh, don't cuss, we don't have sex before marriage, there's a certain way we act, but there's more to being a Christian than just set of rules to follow. It's a way you act. It's not just don't do this, don't do that. It's there's things we should do, things that we can do,
mm,
that other people can't. And I just had to like really reteach myself and relearn from my mom and my brother and just those around me, like my friends, what it meant to
mm,
act the way we should.
yeah. Uh, bro, it's I'm like actually like so sounded again because like our lives paralleled again. Like my sophomore year is when my parents started divorcing too, and so I'm lucky that like both my parents are amazing people and they really care about me. But that was a lot to deal with as well. And my testimony is that I gave my life to God in 2020. So that's about 2 years before that happened. So I had that foundation. I feel like God was really preparing me to um really go through the season of life that was. And so but like do having stuff happen in your personal life and then trying to still show up is like most definitely a hard thing to do. And uh it really does teach us. It's like a trial by fire.
Yeah.
But like for you, it like kind of showed you what it meant to be Christian. It kind of showed me what it meant to praise God and to do like remain strong in your faith despite what happens. Because I mean, at the end of the day, like we can all make excuses. I mean, there's so many things I can make excuses about in my life for doing whatever I wanted, but it doesn't matter because Jesus, he walked on this earth, and it says in Hebrews 4:15 that he was tempted in every way, yet he did not fall into that temptation. He did not fall into that sin. And so if he could do it, if he could walk on on this earth like that, like he is a perfect example of how we are supposed to live.
Mhm.
Because like we're not even made for this earth. We're made for heaven. And so like we can suffer a little bit right now if it means that we can share the strength of God in our lives with others. So
Definitely.
yeah.
But yeah, and then what we're talking about for Scott, like that year, I had to like before, never before had I like routinely read my Bible. Like I said a prayer every now and again. It's just like church was a Sunday thing for me. God was more of a Sunday thing for me. My parents pushed religion, but it wasn't like a code. We had a short prayer before we ate, but we had to really like I had to change my whole mindset about it. I had to routinely begin reading my Bible before bed and going to the Word every day helped me so much. I had never done that before, and just exploring the Bible, what it meant to be a Christian outside of just what they tell you at church and what you do in small groups changed me so much. And being able to pray each night truly helped me. Like
Mm-hmm.
just be able to expand my faith, learn, and just give it to God. Like just had to ask for help, and that was
Yeah.
okay. I just had to ask for help, and then I could get it.
Mm,
Yeah, I'm
that's good.
actually getting, I'm getting a little. Yeah, I gotta lock in, but it's all good.
Yeah. No, bro. Hey, that's good. But yeah, I imagine you probably told a lot of your story. And so I'm not sure if there's anything else you want to add or uh like just like where are you now in your career and then also like uh what you're heading towards in life and so like what are you excited about?
Definitely excited about college. I am have the absolute privilege to be able to run at Emory University coming up this year in Atlanta, Georgia. Let's go. Let's go Birds. But no, I'm super excited about it because they have such a great culture there of not just, running, but also academics. I'm going into a great team as it is. We just won our conference meet for track. So, and then we routinely go to nationals for cross country. So I'm hyped, man.
I like how you say we because that I mean we are a part of the team now.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm not gonna say I because I haven't gotten to nationals yet. I want to go, but I haven't gone there yet. So, um, I'm looking forward to the future. And so my ridiculously complicated major is a double major in anthropology and ancient Mediterranean history. Possibly, if I can throw it in there, we can throw a minor of a language in there.
Bro,
We can make it work.
will it be French?
It probably won't be French. I'm done with French. I'm done with French. Hopefully, it's gonna be like I don't even know, man. If I could do Arabic and not hate myself, I want to do
That's actually
Arabic.
so dope. I would that would be something that I want, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we'll see. I'm just excited about the future. I'm ready to get out there and I'm ready to work, man.
Yeah.
Because we got a lot of incoming freshmen, and I'm trying to get my spot on the national team for cross country. So I'm ready to put out the work, show up, and just do the very best I can.
Yeah. That's actually so dope because my next question is literally like I was saying in the introduction, like your work ethic is actually like crazy. Like for swimmers, like we have a coach screaming down our throats, or at least on my team, we have a coach screaming down our throats every day. And although it scares you, like it's a pretty good motivator to show up to practice and to do the work. But I know for you, people will talk about how they'll just like be driving somewhere and they'll see you run and work out, and you do that by yourself sometimes. And so I imagine, like, because during COVID when we had to take our athletics in our own hands, I was dropping the ball. But like, how do you like manage that, like get up and do the work?
Um, well, the big thing was after my freshman year, everyone graduated, and I didn't really have anyone to run with. So I got no one to run with. I guess I had to get very comfortable with running by myself, and that's
Yeah.
what I did. So I had to learn how to do it all myself, and that's when I began to do heavy research on, workouts. And for swimmers, yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's the same thing. VO2 max workouts and tempos and lactate thresholds, all the weird looking words for running. Um, and yeah, just it's a team sport of course, but at the end of the day, if you're not ready to do the work by yourself,
Yeah.
you're not going to be good. Because with swimming, I mean, you got to go to the natatorium. You got to kind of swim there. You can't really do it at your house, so you
Yeah.
got a coach there with you always. But running, a lot of the time, it's just you're just putting in the easy miles. You're just putting in the work. You're running for 60 to 70 minutes a day, and you're just kind of by yourself in the concrete streets of Mansfield.
Yeah.
But
Murderfield.
Field. um, so not true, but it's hilarious. Um, but yeah, you just gotta put in the work yourself a lot for running because you're gonna have a coach, but he's not always gonna be there. At the end of the
Yeah.
day,
Yeah.
however fast you run, however much effort you put in, it's based on you and what you're gonna give that day.
Yeah. Mm. Oh yeah, that's good.
Oh, sorry, actually, I have one more thing to add up. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Um,
I didn't have anything else.
and also like when you're running in the summer, y'all can go inside a building. We don't.
Yeah.
So I remember the summer for my junior year. Most days I would get up at 5 or 5:30, and this is summer, guys. I was down bad. I was good for 5 or 5:30, and I'd go run 8 miles or something, and then I'd take a nap for half the day, and then at like 3, I'd go to a park where there was some shade, and I'd do like a 4 mile double.
Oh.
So I'm running like
Uh,
12 miles a day, and then
oh.
I'm like trying to get enough sleep at night, but it's really hard because I'm waking up so early. At the end of the day, running is a very individual thing, so you got to be willing and ready to put in the work.
But that's still crazy though. Like you're doing doubles by yourself.
Yeah,
Like I
that's
know
tough.
like I'm taking in everything you said because of course like it's our work at the end of the day. Like nobody can make us get up and do it. But it's still crazy that you have that internal motivation to just wake up at 5 on your own, run 8 miles, and then go out again.
I gotta say, I was pretty blessed that summer and even last summer. Every a lot of the time, Mama Clark, shout out Mama Clark.
Yeah, Mama Clark, yeah.
She was able to come out and bike with me, or either ride in the car next to me and support me. And I was very blessed to have someone just to like kind of keep me accountable with waking up. And as much as she didn't enjoy it always because I would be a little grumpy in the morning, she was always very supportive, and I do appreciate her for that. So I want to give her a shout out. This wasn't
Yeah.
just me; she helped a lot.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, yeah, you just kind of gotta suck it up and do it.
Yeah. It's kind of the same thing with parents driving swimmers to practice super early in the morning.
Yeah,
You know, my dad he came through hard. Like there I mean, there are times he had to drive super far just to get me and then take me to practice. So I mean, shout out, Mr. Goins for that.
yes,
But
sir.
But yeah, I mean, both of my parents, like, I, it's crazy how much they put in because I've been registered with USA Swimming since 2013.
Oh my goodness.
So that's like over, well, until I got my license, that it was just about a decade of early morning practices, pickups in the middle of the evening. They may be at work or doing something, but they still came and got me. And I was never waiting more than like 15 minutes, which I mean
That's
that's
pretty
pretty
good.
good.
Yeah.
That's pretty like there's people at Lakers that are sitting outside like an hour after school's over. And I feel so bad. That's almost like I almost want to like just give rides, but you never know, someone's just gonna like stab you, while you're just not normal. But
Murderfield, man.
yeah, that like Murphy, like bro, like one body, well, that don't sound right, but one death a week, one death a week.
Alrighty.
Oh my gosh. So I guess moving forward, how do you share your faith throughout your sport?
Yeah, so share faith without sport. I think the biggest way for me is it's just kind of how I act.
Mhm.
You kind of got to set an example just by showing kindness and patience and just really showing love in everywhere I
Yeah.
can. Like for the upperclassmen, I try my best to communicate with them outside of running. I want to talk about their personal life and not just about running or the meet or whatever. I try to talk about school. I try to eat lunch with them if I can. For me, it's just showing up in their personal life and showing that I care about them and I care for them. Not just I care that they run and show up to practice. It's like I care about them and their health outside of that.
Mm, mm. That's good because I mean, there's a lot of people, and I mean, I know some people that they like claim the stuff, they say the things, but it's like they don't show up for people, and it's really heartbreaking because like people see that and then they're like Christians are just they're fake, they're not real, they don't actually care about people. They say God is love, but they say things behind my back, and it's so important to like combine both living boldly with living in love. And I think that's something that like I always try to balance, that it's just important for every Christian to balance, no matter like what their vocation, what their sport, whatever they do, like um it needs to be a faith that is lived out through love. And so I mean that is always really important, and that's what I see you do. Seeing what your teammates say about you and all that stuff. So
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely not gonna lie. I fall short. I fall short always.
oh yeah,
I
yeah,
definitely fall short. I'm not gonna be the one who says I'm a perfect team leader and team captain or anything
yeah,
like that. I fall short constantly. You know, I say things I'm not supposed to. I screw up and whatnot. But at the end of the day, I do try my best with that.
yeah. Yeah, and none of us are perfect, of course. I mean, that's very cliche to say that we're not perfect, but it's true. And I had an experience very early on this year where I actually like it really snuck up on me, but I tried to live perfectly. And so kind of how that happened was I was coming off of summer and my junior year, I was doing like all this stuff for God, and I mean, this dude over here, like Nathan, he had this idea for this worship night and just encounter with God. And after doing that, it was called the Jesus Rally. I felt like so on fire, and I felt on fire like the whole entire year. And I was just doing all this stuff, and then it came to summer, and it was like I'll remove from that. And then once school came around again after being removed, it was like, dang, I want to jump back in. I want to do everything. And so I started signing up for a million different things. And that second week of school, given it's the second week of school, like I felt like the whole world was crumbling down on me. I realized that I couldn't stretch myself this far and still show up for all the things. And so like I just started, I mean, I'm not crumbling like in just stress, but like my person, like my humanity started to be ultra. Like I was becoming a person I didn't know I was.
Yeah.
Somebody that, I this is kind of like an aside, but I realized recently that the person we are when we make a mistake or we do something that we don't like that we did, that's still a part of us. It's just a part of us that we don't confront or we don't want to show.
Yeah.
And so I realized that the parts of me that were prideful started coming out. The parts of me that were bitter started coming out. The parts of me that wanted to be perfect started coming out. And so, um, shout out Gage. He pulled me aside at church and he saw that and he just told me that I needed to reset, like just realize what I needed to get rid of, stop doing, and connect back with God and connect back with my roots. It says in Revelation to return to your first love. And I realized like I was doing all these things and I wasn't even loving God. I was just like trusting in myself.
Hmm.
And so I went to the library that weekend and for like about 3 to 4 hours. I was just there. I'll read the word for about, and this sounds crazy. I don't even know how I was able to lock in for this long. I'll read the word for like 50 minutes. Um, well, I read the word for 50 minutes, then I went and like walked outside the library. There was like park around it,
Hmm.
and then I went back into the word again. Then I walked, and then I sat down and I got like all the things that I did, and I started checking out like, am I gonna keep this? I want to limit this. I'm gonna drop this, and it helped a lot just realigning myself and realizing that I didn't need these things to be close to God. I just needed to um, cultivate that, relationship with Him and remain, intimate with Him.
Yeah.
But another thing that happened that week was like low-key transformative. Like it was a very odd, but also a very important week of the year. I was stressing about it, and this was before I took that break. And my mom told me that um what's it she was like, Solomon, like, why are you doing all this? Like, why are you signing up for all this stuff? And I was like, because I want to make an impact. And she was like, you can't handle all this stuff. And then she told me, she's like, you're not Jesus. You're not perfect. And I was sitting on the stairs and she said that. And like something like just clicked and I just started like bawling my eyes out. Like it was such a bad cry that I was like reaching like a baby, like for my mom, but like I couldn't even move. Like that's how like I felt like the stress that was building up throughout all that week just like, started flooding out and I was like showing it and stuff. And I felt like a lot of healing that night as well because it was like I was breaking down those walls
Hmm.
and I was reconnecting with God through that. Um, and really recognizing him as a savior and me being as a servant,
Yeah.
right? And so, um, I don't even know how I got into that, but like,
No, that's good
yeah,
because, we're meant to show the love of God, but that doesn't, make us God.
yeah,
We're supposed to be servants. We're asked to serve. We're called to serve. And sometimes that's just in the smallest, interactions between us and a friend or us and just a stranger we met outside of school.
yeah.
It doesn't have to be in the big things of sharing your testimony in front of 10,000 people. It can just be in the smallest, minute interactions between people. And, there's people like Gage and your mom coming into your, like, just telling you that's just, God showing up in your life and trying to help you. And maybe he put all those things in your life to show you, you know, this is what you need to be doing. This is what I'm calling you to do. It's not to be some grand spectacle and some grand individual that goes to the masses and,
Yeah.
cleanses them of their sins. It's just we're a servant and we're trying to help each person we can individually with love and with full attention.
Mm. Man, bro, this episode is like, bro, it's so good. So many like just straight like diamonds, like gems of truth, bro. Um, so I guess this may be the last question, but what was the biggest challenge? I feel like you may have hit it on this already. Or what is the biggest challenge that you faced in your career and how did you overcome it?
Oof.
I apologize.
No, sure. um, Honestly, the biggest challenge for me is recognizing that I'm not the best person out there. I'm not the best kid. I'm not the fastest kid. And realizing that, I'm going to put in the work and I'm going to keep improving, but I also have to realize it's okay that I'm not going out there and winning every meet, or I'm not going out there and placing top 10 or top 15, that I'm me. I'm a different individual. I'm not just a carbon copy of all the other runners out there. And that, sure, I may be really good for the district or I may be good for the team, but recognizing my own talents lie outside or lie further outside than just running. I have other hobbies, I have other interests, and that I need to learn to not focus so much solely on one thing like running, that I lose other aspects of me, or they're just forgotten, like, just God, or like reading or schoolwork or anything like that,
Yeah,
just other aspects of me that I just need to be a multi-tiered person. I don't know, something like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
I don't know the
yeah.
way to describe
No,
that.
like a multi-layer cake. Like there's goodness in every level.
Yeah, I'm not just I'm not just a vanilla cake. There's more to me.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's good, bro. Because oftentimes, like I know in my career, there was never been a time when I was like just on top. There's always been somebody that has either done it better than me or does it just as good as me to where I keep on my toes. And so oftentimes like I would put all my eggs into that swim basket and then make that my identity. And it's like God comes through time and time again and just breaks down that notion
Mhm.
that what I am as a swimmer. I have so many experiences of things that happened outside of the pool that showed me like, yeah, I didn't put you on this earth to just swim.
Yeah.
I put you on this earth to do what I called you to do. And a lot of that goes back to the impacting people and also enduring things that I don't want to do so that it can be a testimony. But
Yeah, I also think that goes into like breaking down and getting rid of our ego, because we want to just be a runner. Maybe we just want to be a really good runner or a really good swimmer and be the best of the best. But at the end of the day, if we're not, we have to realize that, and we have to accept that, and we have to move forward and acknowledge that that's okay. We have other things about us that make us human, that make us good and valuable and worthful to the rest of society.
yeah, what do you know how much time we've spent?
Um, around 40 minutes
Okay.
recording.
We doing good.
Okay.
Okay.
I saw that in the first one you did with your brother, there was like a fire round of questions. Do you have any like questions just off the top of your head that you want to just like
Yeah, I
share?
know. I was literally about to do that right now.
Okay, okay.
I might start just adding some. 'Cause
Take
I
me
don't
to
have
the
the
chase.
paper with me, but I remember them. A lot of them were curated towards swimmers, but I'll change it up. But I'm not sure some of them are gonna there's not are gonna like go over that well. Okay, I'll just answer this. 200 meter or 400 meter?
400 meter. I can't sprint for crap.
Okay. Okay. If you had a superpower, what would it be?
Invisibility.
Visibility.
So,
Why?
oh no, wait. Oh no, I should have said super speed. I'm so no, I should have said super speed.
That's what every distance runner says,
I should
though.
have said super speed. I don't know why I didn't say that.
Yeah.
Too late. I guess invisibility. Too late, man.
Mm, mm. Favorite Bible character?
Dude, David and Goliath is my story, bro. That's the one I grew up in, my like the kids like action Bible, that where you had like all the stories, man,
Yeah.
like with pictures. David and Goliath, that's my story, man. It's really rather gruesome, but on the it was really cool. Okay, man.
Oh, I gotta comment on that. Like, the children's version of the Bible, bro. I did not know half the stuff that was in there.
No,
Like, if,
no,
like,
it's going from a cartoon to Passion of the Christ. It's a huge difference.
no, literally-
It's like his head was chopped off in one strike, but in the kids thing, it's like, oh, they just went separate ways.
yeah, bro, that's so good. Favorite track athlete of all time.
Galen Rupp,
Okay,
American long distance runner. I don't know if anyone knows who that is, but Galen Rupp.
okay. Favorite teammate. No, 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 I'm not gonna be.
I don't even, no, I can't answer that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I can't answer that one. I
Yeah,
can't have favorites, bro.
yeah, yeah. Okay, I gotta think of one more. I had one more on the list.
Can I do
I
a good
forgot.
hype song?
Thank you.
No.
That's the one. It's you're waiting for that. You're waiting for that, weren't you?
I did low research. Personally, okay. Okay. I got two answers to this one, people. I got first one, Daft Punk, bro. I'm a Daft Punk
Yeah.
guy. Love Daft
Is
Punk.
that the like
It's like,
quicker, faster, stronger people?
yeah.
Okay, okay.
Daft Punk is fire. My brother put me onto that when he was like in middle school, so I must have been like a fifth grader. Anyways,
Yeah.
they're fire. And then the other one is, I'm a soundtrack guy. Like, I like soundtracks, even if it's for getting hype. So the soundtrack of Creed, like that sequel to all the Rocky movies with Michael B.
Okay.
Jordan, that stuff is fire.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. I guess the last question is, and this isn't really rapid fire, but if you had a chance to just talk to like a group of younger athletes and you got to share like the most important thing to you, whether that be like a nugget of wisdom, something that you wish you knew, what would you tell them?
Oh, that's a good one. The biggest thing for me, as a lot of athletes say it though, it's just not to seek validation from others when it comes to running. Like, if you don't love the sport, in my opinion, you can be good, but you will never be great if you don't love the sport. So you got to find your love for the sport and not the love of getting validation from others by doing good.
Mhm.
It's because you won't ever, you got to train by yourself and you got to work hard, you got to wake up early, you got to eat well, all these hard things. And if you don't truly admire and love every ounce of pain and work that goes into that, you're never going to be the best athlete you can.
Mm, that's good. Oh, dang, I don't want to end the episode, but with that, that's a wrap, man. I mean, I gotta say thank you again for
Sir,
being on. Like, this was such a amazing conversation. Like, I mean, it's blessed me in so many ways. But
same here.
yeah, so this is the end of the show. Thank you so much for joining us on this podcast episode. I hope it blessed you. Please like, subscribe, follow, do all the things, because I mean, if you find it useful to you, please. But yeah, I hope this was a blessing for you, and I just want to pray us out real quick. Just so we can go with God, as Jackie O. Perry says it. So, Lord, thank you so much for this day. Thank you for everything, God. Like, you write all of our stories, and none of us are better than anyone else. We're all so unique and so loved and designed for good purposes by you, God. I pray that whoever is listening to this knows that God loves them, that God has made them on purpose, that they are no accident, that whatever they are going through, that you want to be with them in it, and that you created them to know you, God. I pray that we may all just marvel in your presence and love others as you love us, Lord, in truth and love. In Jesus' name, I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Okay.